My name is Andrew Koppel. I basically, along with my father Martin and my brother Nick, we co-run Kops Records. We've been more or less working together in total since 1976. When vinyl was getting big back in the 70s, obviously, we were able to specify our market. Basically, anyone who was interested in 45s, my dad would wholesale to it. And by the late 90s, early 2000s, when vinyl was probably at its lowest, we still had the bedrock of 45s in both here and in the United Kingdom, where my dad's secondary business selling soul music in England was able to kind of keep us afloat. My dad had a history of going to the northeastern United States for buying 45s. So he would go to Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, Detroit, all the small towns in between. He'd buy 45s there and ship them to the UK where they were popular. But nowadays, we focus mostly on Toronto now because that's where the booming market is. There's a big demand now for soul and jazz music here in Toronto, but back in the day it wasn't necessarily as popular, so there's not as much used soul and jazz kicking around. So to reach that demand, we go to cities in the US where they were popular at the time, and now that they are being sold. So the resurgence of vinyl has changed our business very much so. Particularly because, as I previously mentioned, the importance of keeping up with the digital age. There are online retailers that we are always cheaper than, but we always have to make sure we keep a watch on what they're selling and for how much, so that people know we sell it for cheaper. The resurgence of vinyl has more so changed our business model when it happened, not so much that it happened. Though we are, of course, carrying a lot more albums than 45s now that, of course, we no longer need to rely on the UK for sending 45s to. As I always say, it's kind of like, you can have 1,000 books on an e-reader, but if you go on the subway, you don't see a lot of e-readers. You see a lot more people reading books because it's that feeling of being able to physically hold something, experience it. You can't put it on shuffle. You have to listen to it from start to finish. So it's a matter of how many more people get into that market and how many more people learn to appreciate the experience. And unfortunately, it's too difficult to predict. You never know what's going to happen next. So we go month by month, see what happens.